Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Minecraft video with me, Vanillaraccoon. Heyo! And in this Minecraft video, we are going to be taking a look at my second SnapSet, which has been named Hyacinth's Abode. Now, before we move on, I would like to provide a quick fun fact for the name Hyacinth. In Greek mythology, Hyacinth was a young lover to the god Apollo, and one day during a sporting event, while the two were throwing a disc back and forth to one another, Zephyros of the west wind had blown the disc and used his power to strike Hyacinth, which thus killed him. And it is said that Apollo had refused to allow Hades to take Hyacinth down into the underworld, and so from where his blood was spilt, Apollo had then taken it and crafted a flower, and then the tears from Apollo would stain this flower, thus creating a whole new flower, which today we call the Hyacinth flower. But I digress, and moving on, let's now go ahead and take a look at the second SnapSet. So, recently, a few friends and I had visited a place called Longwood Gardens, and in the event you have never heard of Longwood Gardens consist of over 1,077 acres of gardens, woodlands, and meadows within Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. And it is one of the premier horticultural display gardens in the United States and is open to visitors year-round. Now, during my trip to Longwood Gardens, I thought to myself, hey, it would be kind of cool to recreate some of the things here in Minecraft, but instead of doing so in the lovely world of raccoons in a Minecraft Let's Play video, I thought, you know what? How about I make this be the inspiration, if not the theme, of the next SnapSet that I want to work on. So, if you would like to check out my day trip to Longwood Gardens, then through the power of YouTube cards at the top right corner of your screen, if you are watching this on a mobile device or computer. If you're watching on a console, then sadly, that you will not see the YouTube card, but there shall be a YouTube card popping up at the top right corner of your screen right now as I speak, where you can go ahead and check out my vlog. It has a nice little music video touch to it. Basically, I'm just showing you what there is at the Arboretum that is at Longwood Gardens, and some music by Lakey Inspired is playing. Now, I will admit that when I was coming up with this second SnapSet that you see here, I did not want it to contain as many pieces as the previous SnapSet had, and that is for a few reasons. One being, in my first SnapSet video, there was 30, maybe 30 plus pieces that you could use to create a house. And for those who may not know how to use structure blocks to snap the pieces together, I kind of thought that that was a little overwhelming. And secondly, when I was walking around the Arboretum at Longwood Gardens, the structure itself was not large in size. I mean, it is a large arboretum. It is one of the largest arboretums, I think, on the East Coast or in America. Don't quote me on that one. But when it came to just walking around the arboretum, the structure, each piece of the structure, the arboretum, looked fairly same. So as you guys can tell, for example, we do have, say, the floral room, a small version, and then we have another floral room, but this one is large, whereas this one is not a floral room, but instead it is a botanical garden. Now, this is a turn piece. This is something you can use to connect different hallways, or if you wanted to connect a entrance piece to one of the turns and then attach a hallway to it, then you can do so. The reason why I wanted to state that over here are your turning pieces is because right over here we have some pieces that may look like turning pieces, but they are actually their own thing. And if you watch the vlog, then you'll see what I mean, because at one point I am walking down a corridor and it begins to curve, and along the walls there are some vines, and I wanted the turn pieces in this SnapSet to be completely separate from the vine hallways. that you would see in the vlog, or if you were to visit Longwood Gardens for yourself if you ever were in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Now, in the vlog, I forget if I pointed out that the doorways that are within the vine hallway lead to bathrooms, but I did not want to leave that part of the arboretum out. So instead of recreating the bathrooms at Longwood Gardens, I figured I would go ahead and create small storage pods, so that way if you were to download this world and snap these pieces to create your own arboretum, you could then have a place to store your dirt blocks, your grass blocks, your coarse dirt blocks, any seeds and flowers that you may have that are not currently on display. Or if you want to, you can go ahead and take these pieces and port them into your own single player world and then snap them together there. That way you don't have to start over in a whole new super flat world and begin building a new world. Now, this is just something to provide. These two pieces here are just to add some life to the building itself. As you may be able to tell, right now there are no flowers, there are no grass blocks planted in any of these pieces except maybe the botanical garden. I am using Podzol here, and that is because I felt that using grass blocks may not really do the trick, especially since when I was walking around the arboretum at Longwood Gardens, I noticed that the ground did look a little dirty, but at the same time, it was not that the ground was dirty. It was the fact that there was actually soil planted in the ground, so that way the plants could be growing right from the ground and not be sat on some stool or some stand to be displayed on. Now, the last thing I would like to point out is that you will have to use structure blocks in order to snap these pieces together. And in the event that you do not know how to use structure blocks, through the power of YouTube cards, once again, at the top right corner of your screen, there shall be a YouTube card appearing right now that will take you to a video that I recently uploaded, where it's basically a tutorial on how to use structure blocks, how to save a structure, and then how to load the structure, and even how to take a structure save file from one world and port it into another. Now, unlike the previous SnapSet video, I would like to take this time to go ahead and demonstrate to you guys how to use structure blocks and snap them and take these pieces and snap them together. So let me go ahead, get some things ready off camera, and I'll be with you in a moment to demonstrate this. Now, before I begin, I would like to point out that this command block will be here in the world download, but in order to use it and get your structure block, all you have to do is click on it, so then you have this menu pop up, and right where it says Vanillaraccoon, feel free to take out my player name and insert your player name. That way, when you click the button, you will then receive a structure block. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this structure block and I'm going to place it right on top of this wool block. Now I'm going to click this button here, this icon right here, so it says save mode, and where it says structure name, I'm going to type entrance. Sorry about that. I forgot that the dash key is in fact my mute, unmute microphone button. So let me go ahead and click on done, or like what I just did, you can click enter. And before I go any further, I'm actually going to undo that hotkey, so as we continue with this video, I don't accidentally mute and unmute my microphone. So once again, I apologize for having to cut the video again, but right here where it says structure size, this is where we're going to take the measurements of this structure and not the relative position. So let's just go ahead and hit the escape key. So right here, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then going back, it's going to be the same thing, but in case you want to see it to believe it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now when it comes to the height, this is something that you will have to remember when saving the structures. The height you would begin to count from this block here and go up. So let's just go ahead and do that right now. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But if you would like to save the floor within the entrance, you're going to actually go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then one more, 7, to include the floor. So let's just go ahead and punch these numbers in right here. For the structure size, we're going to type in 7. For the X, for the Z, we're going to type 7. And for the Y, instead of punching in a 6, we're going to include a 7. And then I'm going to hit done. And as you guys can tell, right off the bat, we now see an outline of a box. And this is where our structure will be saved at. Now, as you guys may notice, in this corner, this line is green, and as we do a quick flyby to make sure that the outline of our box is the correct dimension, the other 3 corner lines are not green. And for this SnapSet, it's fairly important that you remember which side this green line is at, so that way you don't load a structure and the green line is facing another direction, and then the structure you loaded is not facing the proper way you want it to. Now, as you guys can tell, we are currently on the X axis. We are standing at 1828. And if we move 1 over to our left, we're going to go into 1829. So let's just go ahead and replace this 0 with a 1. So that way the box now moves over by 1. And to then move this box from here to right here, we are currently on the Z, negative 502, and we go to negative 501. So we are going to replace this 0 with a positive 1. And then let's just do a quick flyby to make sure that the box is right where we want it to be. And then once we have done that and everything seems to check out, we're then going to lower this box not down to 0. Let me go ahead and demonstrate to you where this would be at if we put 0. If we left the Y coordinates at 0, then we would have one whole empty block space at our leisure to use, and that is why I say you want to count 7. So for this structure and other structures in this SnapSet, you want to make sure that your Y coordinate is a negative 1. That way it saves the floor of this entrance. Now let's just do one more flyby just to be safe and make sure everything is within the outline box, and then we're going to go ahead and click save. Now, right now, at the top of my head, I do not remember if a vine is considered an entity. So, like what I stated in my structure block tutorial video, I like to just have include entities turned on just to be safe. And then I'm going to click save once. And now it has been saved. Now I'm going to go ahead, move over there, find a nice spot to load this in, and I'll be back with you guys in a moment. Just as I was about to hit the record button, this sheep decided to move from this spot right here. So why not go ahead and place our structure block right here, and just so we don't load this structure in and possibly suffocate our woolly little friend, let's move him out of the way. So what we are going to do now is we're going to click on this icon until it says load mode, and now we're going to type in entrance-1, and my microphone did not mute itself, excelente, and I'm going to click done to make sure that I spelled it right, because when you are saving a structure, it is case sensitive. Spelling does in fact matter. So I'm going to click load once. Now, as you guys can tell, the outline box is right here, but I would like it to be over here. And also the green line is right here, and I want it to be on the opposite end. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to click this 180 icon. In case you did not guess it, it's going to now rotate it 180 degrees. Now I'm just going to go ahead and push it over by 1 and back by 1, like what I did when I was saving it. So let me just go ahead and make sure I do this right. So we are currently at 1805 on the X, and we're going into 1804. So we're actually going to type -1 here, move it over by 1, and then we're going to move it back by 1. So negative 559, negative 560. So we're going to type a -1 right here. Pardon me. And then we are going to just make sure that it is right where we would like to load it. And now I'm going to, instead of typing in 0 like what I did when saving it, I'm going to simply type -1, click done, and then I'm going to do a quick flyby to make sure that the structure is right where I would like it to be at, and then I'm going to click load. But before I do, I want to make sure entities are going to be loaded, and now I'm going to click load, and there you go. So let me just go ahead, save a few other structures, and then load them up with this, and then I'll be back with you guys once I have snapped a few pieces. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed that building montage. It was a spur of the moment idea that I had that I hope will give you a better visual understanding as to how you can use structure blocks to snap these pieces together. Now, as you guys may be able to tell, a majority of these pieces within this second snap set are already saved, and while I was tinkering away with them, I thought to myself, why not just go ahead and create a saved structure file for each and every one of these pieces. That way you do not have to download the world and then measure the structures and possibly mess up on the measuring, maybe miscalculate how many blocks there are going from left to right, front to back, or from within the floor to the top of the ceiling. So you're welcome for including that as well. All you have to do is, if you're going to be porting once again, if you're going to be porting one of these save structures from this world into another single player world, I highly encourage you to then check out my Minecraft tutorial on how to use structure blocks when it comes to basic uses, saving and loading and then porting from world to world. But let's go ahead and take a look at what I've done after the building montage had concluded. So as you guys may be able to tell, I'm using both of the tree rooms that we have here. I'm using both of the entrance pieces. This is entrance room 1, this is entrance room 2, entrance room 1. But then right here we have the botanical garden number 1. Then we have the long hallway number 1, and then we also have a storage room right here, but this is the second one, the smaller version of a storage room. And then over here we have another long hallway. Hello there, Piggy Wig. And then we have a vine hall that leads into a storage room right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead at this point. I'm just gonna walk you guys through it on foot. And the vines definitely give this place more it helps build the atmosphere of this build, at least in my opinion. If you think the vines look a little messy or they're not your cup of tea, then you can go ahead and remove them. It's not going to bother me. Once again, like I stated in the previous SnapSet video, I am just providing you the pieces. You can use your imagination to create whatever it is that you would like to. I guess for this SnapSet, you could go ahead and build a tree structure that consists of all these tree rooms and then maybe some hallways, and throw some flower pots on the ground, or even dig up some of the cobblestone variations and place grass blocks and then bone meal them. Or you can go ahead and take various mushrooms and plant them down inside of here, and so on and so forth. You could just you could also probably make a botanical garden of the sort. But that is going to do it for this video. So once again, in the description section, there will be a link to this world download. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and feel free to let me know in the comment section what ideas you may have for future SnapSet videos. I'm always willing to take ideas, take suggestions, see what I can do, and always keep you guys up to date with all the news on Twitter. So if you like what you see, then please give that like button a hug and subscribe for the latest buzz. And if you had a blast with a good laugh, then make sure you favorite this video and share it with a friend or two. But until next time, peeps, this is Vanillaraccoon. Peace out.